July from Nottingham, England, the World Flying Disc Federation's World Under-24 Ultimate Championships. Live all-access coverage, including semis and finals, exclusively at ULTI.TV.
Good late afternoon, everybody. Last match of the afternoon, evening, just about there. Gronical, Dizziness, Disckick, Berlin. I'm Stef Pazzo here with Benji Reese, having a look at the action here. Benji, what do we see? What do we like here?
I think probably going into the game, you'd probably put Gronical, Dizziness as the favourites. They had a good run at the last EBUCC out in Portimao, and certainly, I think, looking at the rosters, they've maybe got the bigger name players on there. But of course, all that matters for nothing. It's about what you show out there on the field.
Here they come. Gronical, Dizziness had a good day so far. And there's Johan van der Vood. Puts one big one early. It counts to the 11 shirt of Passigna. 2 throws, 1 scored. Quick, easy hold from Gronical, Dizziness to kick things off.
Yeah, Van der Vood, a player that you'll be familiar with, of course, playing with Is No Good last year in your Worlds campaign when you were coaching. And Passigna, a bit of international flavour, because he's, you might say, that doesn't sound like a particularly Dutch name. It's not a particularly Dutch name. He's from the Philippines.
Boracay Dragons, Mulatto. I've played against both those teams back in the days at Manila Spirits events. I got to go to one of the original Boracay Beach tournament way back in the day. So nice to have a Filipino receiver, and even nicer to have him catching first goals of the game.
Just built to move on sand, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. They certainly are. Now this German outfit moving the other direction, wearing their all black uniforms. Gross with the disc. Gets another forwarding pass, and they've been doing it in smaller chunks, but still, so far, Chan with the disc, they've been moving it up the field one direction only. Gillick puts a bladey just past one, into the hands of the other, but in and out of the hands of the disconnection shorted receiver. That's number 35 for Disckick Berlin, who's credited for that error, 33 rather.
It's Felix Visser.
Visser puts one down, and Gronical, Dizziness with a chance to break. The 40 shirt of Houston continues it on. Now it's Valks. Ooh, and that one just a bit too far, and a second chance to hold as Chan scrambles to pick it up and gets it moving. Goes right through Visser, right back to Chan, near sideline, approaching the corner. Around through Gillick. Now Chan again. Chan with a shoulder shimmy, trying to make some space before he dumps to Visser, zips it in. Oh, and it looked like a grab, ground strip, sand strip, in fact.
Kasper Gross there just came up with a mouthful of sand, and unfortunately for him, not much else.
Unfortunate indeed. So Gronical, Dizziness, second chance to break. Deep receiver, defensive switch, and first pass gets away. Now the big shot goes up. Chase is there. Looks too far in front, but I am wrong about how far in front. He does not squeeze the hand, but he's certainly caught up.
Yeah, you could hear there was a big thunk on the sand as they both committed full throttle to trying to get the layout there.
Chan again to Visser. Visser puts the body on the line. Comes up with a disc in hand. Now he's on the doorstep. Dump back. Gone through Gillick. Gillick goes near sideline. Gets the receiver. That receiver gets himself some redemption from the previous. And he's on the board. There is Kasper Gross with a eventual hold for Disckick Berlin.
You're seeing it there, the layout from Visser earlier in the possession. That's a very beach throw, that, because it wends up and you think, oh, this is too far, but it holds in the air for just a little bit longer than it might, than you might maybe throw that on a different surface. So it gives Visser time to get into position to chase down and make the layout. And as you mentioned, Gross with a little bit of redemption eventually on the reception for the goal. Mixed fortune so far for Gronical Dizziness. Began the day with a tough 13-8 win to 33 Tours, 33 Tours of France, who also beat Disckick Berlin 13-10. Gronical Dizziness were able to rebound with a 10-9 win over the wonderfully named Irish team Stout of Bounds. Disckick Berlin had a tough game in their second one. Went down 36 to Guayota, which Guayota are pretty good. You know, that doesn't necessarily put a big black mark against their name.
Steenhuisen sends it the other way. Johan van der Vood ditches the hat. No problem. He was thinking he might have to chuck the body around, but a little upper body twist and manages to get two hands on that to secure.
I just feel sorry for the hat. Could have had a nice moment of glory there. In the end, it was ruthlessly discarded, like Mario committing Yoshi to the depths of nowhere in order to make a tough jump. I've been watching a lot of Kaizo Mario at the moment. I think you can probably tell.
I thought my mustache was setting you off there under your Mario.
Maybe that's what subconsciously got it in my mind. But you could see there they cleared out that space for Van der Woode. The receiver's trailing behind. Again, it's another wonderful throw. That beachiness that we talked about. You just make it hang in the air that little bit longer. Let's have a look at who the thrower was. Looks like the 51 shirt for Gronical Dizziness. I think it's Steenhuisen. And yeah, just again, a little bit of inside-out shape on it to get it to hang in the air.
Van der Voden, indeed a player I know well. I got to coach him. He continues to improve on both the throwing and receiving ends.
I know that you were pretty happy when you found out that he was looking for a team for Worlds.
Yeah, we were. His first tryout, he definitely had some heads turning in Isno camp.
One of those, like, I can't believe this guy fell into our lap.
Yeah, this guy's, we can just take this guy. That's it. It's just that easy. And there is, speaking of just that easy, straight back in. That's into the hands of Kutsin and out of the hands of our Filipino import, Pasinya.
I think that's the bookends there for Bart Keisten, who's represented on various beach tournaments, was playing for Gronical Dizziness at the previous EBUCC in Portimao, his second appearance on the Portuguese sands, of course. He actually represented the Dutch Mixmasters back in 2019 at EBUC.
And it's getting around, getting it done all over these sands, from one end of the beach to the other.
Shout out, I just see our friends from Disc Days Cologne in the chat. Good to have you along here. I think after the earlier thunderstorms, we've got sun and sea and sand forecast all weekend. Yeah,
it was, I mean, it was scorching hot about an hour and a half ago. I couldn't believe it was the same day as the lightning delay we had this morning. It's we've had a few seasons already.
It feels like, it genuinely feels like it was a whole other tournament this morning.
Here comes the under. Disckick looking to respond. That's into the 46 shirt. And he goes wide and around. Big shot to the end zone. Defense will get a chance, but not enough.
Hanneman with the goal.
Giannis Hanneman.
Good name. That's a fun name to say, isn't it? Giannis Hanneman.
You bet it is. He gets big there. Defense had a chance, but a big up there to deny the defensive effort. Here it is again.
Yeah, as you'd expect with another side based in Berlin, there is some crossover with Wall City on the grass, but on this surface here, Disckick representing. Keeping this game close. I was going to say, even though they've got differing records, you know, against a common opponent, the Germans had a better scoreline. So, you know, I think this promises to be a close one all the way up until the finish.
We can't wait to see how it shakes out. So far, so good. 1-goal lead, but a break ahead for Gronical Dizziness as they leave an offensive set on the field, and one of the biggest men, if not the biggest.
I think we worked out that some. This is going to sound really unusual. Maybe some of the Irish lads were pulling our legs on their perspective heights. So I think that. Yeah, I think Lars Den Hertog is actually the tallest player in attendance here this weekend.
Yeah, he is not a short man. Shot deep. Van de Voorde there. Doesn't need to body out. He is putting his imprint on this game right now. Of the 4 goals, he's been part of 3 of them at least. And yeah, Van de Voorde wide open, using his speed. Hasn't really been forced to use his size and his body yet, but it's definitely an element of his game that he can put into the attack as well.
I think when the Gronical Dizziness offense has been at its best, it's about the timing more than anything else. They're not, you know, it doesn't feel like they're throwing to contested shots. Players are catching it, they're looking downfield, and the cuts already began to open up the separation. They don't have to hold it for a couple of seconds to watch things develop downfield. It means you get it nice and in motion too. I'm calling him ULTI.TV's own Johan van der Woede because he's done some Dutch commentary for us in the past.
Oh my goodness!
What?
Where did that come from? The Filipino import once again, Pazzo, imprinting himself on this game, flying, scooping for the goal, and it counts. What a play by Pazzo.
I mean this in the best way, even though it's going to sound backhanded. From the sublime to the ridiculous, the sublime layout, and just the ridiculous nonchalance with which he threw the scuba for the score. Honestly, love to see it.
There's another look. Wow, man, this guy is just chucking himself around with reckless abandon. And nice, sweet finish. the fall away layout from Garelt for the goal, but that one all belongs to Mr. Pazzo. Another pull up, and he's calling it out.
He's got a lot closer to it than we are. I trust him. There's been a couple of pulls from both sides that have narrowly missed those margins.
Yeah, he gets the free run to the line there, but that was awfully close. Gillick gets the leader to Visser. Ooh, floated a bit, but maintains possession. Eisenhart goes back to Gillick. Looking for goal. Reassesses. That one, Visser caught, but not in.
From where I was, I didn't have a good perspective of whether he was able to toe the line.
I see the foul hand signal there.
So potentially a discussion about a force out to be had.
Ooh, I mean, the catch and in the field proper for sure. I think they're discussing whether he was in for a goal.
Oh, there's no doubt about him being out of bounds, I think. It's the difference here between not in and out. He might not be in the end zone, but I don't think anyone's saying that he's out of bounds necessarily.
Right. My second perspective, because first perspective I didn't really have the best, but I thought that foot was down, out of bounds, or in the field proper, not in the end zone when I first see this happening.
Of course, while we can offer our perspective and analysis, what we think is not the important thing. It's about the players on the field coming to their own resolution that they're happy with.
And of course, while we give our perspective and let it be known, we would love the same from you back home as well. If you've got an opinion, let us know. Was he in? Was he out? Was it a goal? Was it out of bounds? What do you think? You're watching the same screens we are. Because they continue their discussion here.
I think someone once said, "Quick game's a good game." Maybe some Confucian wisdom.
Well, not in is the result of it. Visser with the disc on the goal line, dumps back. Gross. Looking to engage, not many options, throws into the pack, and it gets knocked away out the back of the stack.
Was that, what, 3 different Disckick receivers who had a shot at it? And in the end, Carr's just it's not going to leave anything up to chance and slap it to the floor.
You kind of just threw it right over the stack. Too high for everybody, but within reach of everybody.
It's where everyone is, right? Why not just throw it there?
I'm down to have a receiver where they all reset.
It's always open if you throw it hard enough.
Ooh.
What?
And they are just bing, bang, boom, suspiciously open, but not because of a pick. That is a dropped assignment there. Michael Carr's in for the goal because he was left unattended.
I think what happened is the 2 players, they came in to try and squeeze on that cut underneath from Hacker, and he's like, oh, well, there's someone in the end zone. Why would I not throw it? And often, actually, when you see those receivers that are that open, players rush it a little bit and they pop it up. There's a very good boy or girl on stream there.
Oh, who's a good dog?
Why is it always dog cam and never cat cam? Anyway, but yeah, two players came to cover the underneath cut, opened up the throw to the end zone, which, by the way, the throw to that underneath cut only just made its way through, and it's 6-2 Dizziness, and we got a timeout.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and fund our work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
And back after the break. Timeout taken by Disckick to try and sort out what is causing the difference in score here. Break it into bite-sized pieces and see if they can gnaw away at some of those bites. For now, in their own end zone, while the Gronical Dizziness defense charges down the field upon them. First pass into turf, and he just looks down in dismay about that mechanical error.
Yeah, the Force didn't get a piece of it, but didn't need to.
And now Gronical Dizziness, and I mean, that's not an in-play timeout. That's a between-point timeout, but I still classify that one as a time over.
Turn out, time over, whichever way you slice it, it's not great for Berlin. Again, we're seeing the value of good pulling because it pinned the Germans in the center of their end zone from the start, and they never adjusted from there. Maybe it was a case of players being too downfield. So I think actually the receiver there just signaled that actually that was coming right out of the sun, so maybe it wasn't as easy as perhaps it looked. 7-2, Gronical Dizziness taking the half.
And so, again, very short breaks at the half. They're simply going to find their mirror opposite and continue playing. No break, no timing break. They'll get right back into it here, and there is the Gronical Dizziness pull that's caught out of bounds. Okay. I guess he must have had that foot in and caught it inbounds and walked out because he just played it. Chan's now ripped it. Can the chase arrive? Indeed. And that is a tape to taper. And that's Gross's second goal off a huck. And he celebrates it in the same way, showing us the Disckick Berlin logo and framing it on his shirt. But there's a response.
I mean, that is a peach of a throw from Chan. You could see that he always wanted it. They set up this cut so well. There's no one else getting in the way there. He's jumping it into the end zone, and Chan, I think, demonstrating why he selected to represent Germany on the beach for Worlds later this year.
That's going to be an exciting tournament. Huntington Beach on the pier. Some nice surf there. And that one shot deep. Van de Vouden under it, and great take by the big fella. He dishes off to Pasinha. And the dump back to Van Foken. Straight back to Pasinha, and there's a conversation. I think it's about a travel.
Maybe too much go and not enough throw?
There's the reception by Van de Vouden.
He very early on, he gets exactly the read of where he wants to take it and pinpoints that well.
Back to Pasinha. Still meters away. Another scoop. There's a hand on it, but Van de Vouden goes into a squat to get that one and bounces up to put another one on the board.
It worked the first time, so why not go back to it?
Takes one high, takes one low. A bit of this, a little bit of that. Normally, you would imagine if I taught him anything as a coach, it would have been to take that low one. But I'm telling you, it was me who taught him how to box there. Take the high ones like a big man he is.
I back you. That's his third goal
You're
now.
a good friend, Benji. That's nice of you to back me.
Third goal of the game, along with an assist as well for Johan van der Woede, which is the opposite stat line to Taji Pasinha, who has 3 assists and 1 goal.
No wonder they play so well together.
8-3, Gronical Dizziness leading at the moment. And I'll be honest, I mean, they've only turned it over on 1 point, which was the game's second point when both sides turned it over a couple of times before Berlin punched it in. Otherwise, this has been a relatively faultless performance from the Dutch.
Vissa to Chan from their own end zone, now 7 to 10 meters out. Back to Visser. Centered, and the defense came there, but not quite quick enough. There's a call and an injury.
Keisten's done himself some sort of mischief on the landing.
Injury called. Substitutions are going to come in. On the Gronical Dizziness side, that is Johan van der Vouden.
Hopefully it's nothing more than he's just jammed it awkwardly on the landing.
Seems to be shaking it off. Game continues. Chan reception. Dump back to the 89 shirt of Gillick. Now Visser again. Far sideline. Zip to the end zone. Chan's there. There's one on the board for Disckick. Looked pretty slick after the injury substitution anyhow.
Yeah, the timeout might not have done Disckick any good, but maybe just that saying, okay, there's something different about a half-time than a timeout where you can say, okay, officially it's a new phase of the game now. Yes, the first half wasn't great, but we can park that. We can try and just start again. And since that, they've looked a lot better, I think.
So, little note, because I know Johan from playing with Isno, and he's here with Gronical Dizziness. I remember I saw a disc of his on the ground at an Isno training once, and it said Johan van der Vouden, Isno, GD. And I was like, "Well, why didn't you, like, why were you so lazy? You couldn't put the 2 O's in good. Like, come on, man. Like, Isno GD. You spelt out Isno, but you couldn't spell out good. And, well, he let me know that the GD was for his other team, which we're seeing here today. That shot deep. Our Filipino receiver read it like a storybook. Sends it for the goal and demands a layout, and that one bounces off the hand or the sand, but not completed.
Yeah, just a touch too much on that one. I'll tell you what, Pacino, it just seemed to spring off the sand, like there's flubber on his feet. But I think maybe a couple of those end zone throws from him have been a little bit lackadaisical. That time he was punished. What a catch block from Vanderwood. Guys, this is beach. You can't do this sort of thing.
Vanderwood is just sending himself. Interception, layout interception. Look at it. It's a tough landing, actually, on the double knee landing there. I'm glad he's okay. I mean, it didn't seem to phase him at all, but watching it in slow-mo looks like a pretty, I mean, he's a heavy man. He's a big man.
Rather him than me, I think.
Yeah. I don't think my knees like that, that kind of impact. I'll tell you that right now.
No, but then I know what your knees have been through.
Yeah, true.
It's going to be a discussion here. Jonathan Van Oppen was the intended receiver from Stuttgart in Germany, although actually now based in Aarhus in Denmark.
So 8-4 scoreline. Here's one more look at the Pacino grab. I mean, that, and you see there was a hand block on that before it got away, and it did go to sand beforehand, just a bit too far in front, not dropped. So throwing error in the end because of the hand block. So
the call has been resolved, and that was the best catch that never happened, it turns out, because it stays with Van Oppen.
Well, it still was on film, and you oh, there's a nice bid by Steenhausen. Big shot for Disckick, end zone eyes, and well received by Ofroth. And the Germans get back on the board to bring it within 3 and, you know, somewhat of striking distance at this stage.
Yeah, the vet, Christian Kervel, just bangs this one deep. Full faith in the receiver, because Alfarot had a receiver right there, or a defender, I should say, right in stride with him. And he's just got that one step of separation that was all he needed, and plucks that down with the right hand. Break for Disckick. I'll tell you what, they're not going to go down without a fight here. First turnover from the Dizziness O-line, and it was punched in.
Vanderwood was referred to by Christina Obermeyer as the best player in the Netherlands back at Windmill last year, and he took a lot of heat from that from his compatriots, and he heard about that one a fair bit. But
there's no other good players in the Netherlands, are there? Though that's the thing.
I mean,
it's a really shallow field.
There are a fair few. Of course, Benji's sarcasm spread on thick there.
What? Me? Sarcasm? No.
But I will say that he is emerging into...
He'd be in the conversation.
He's putting himself in that conversation, and there's another bid. That one gets away, and Chan will pick up to go the other way for Disckick.
Bit of a run going now for the Germans, maybe.
If they put this one in, we'll call it that indeed. Ernstein back to Chan. Gets the lateral cross pattern. Gross. Chan gives the up line. He's open. Upfield eyes. Stall count mounted but distributed to Ernstein. Now dumped back to Chan with all sorts of space. Now moving backwards, 2 or 3 passes in a row. It's Gross with the disc. Showing good patience, but not able to generate upfields. Chan goes around. Visser. Visser centers. Now it's Ernstein to goal. That one looks good, and it is. It's a two-hand layout, chin drag on the tape. But are they asking to go VAR, or are they talking about a potential stall out on the throw?
There's no way it was a stall out, right? Didn't have it for anywhere near long enough. He just gripped it and ripped it. Just a discussion about whether he was in the end zone or whether he was out of bounds. It looked good from our angle, going full strength with two hands. It's just a question, I think, of what lands first. He celebrates like he thinks he scored. It is another break for Disckick Berlin, 8-6. This is very much game on.
Yeah, we'll call this a run now for sure. That's 3 in a row, sorry, holding 2 breaks. They are on a nice little run here. And now it's up to Gronical Dizziness to stop the bleeding here, or we're into a barn burner. And do his knees touch first, viewers at home? Or if his wrists touch first on the tape, that would be out. Very close to call. And called in. That is the ruling. No two ways about it. No argument, no better perspective. Van de Voet. Nice wide around throw.
Yeah, it's relatively still out here, despite, of course, being right by the ocean.
And that one hanging in space and right into the hands of Pacina. And as far as stopping the bleeding goes, there it is. The clot alleviated. And 9-6 the scoreline.
Yeah, Steenhausen with another clutch delivery after he very kindly trafficked our drone here to Royan. This time Pacina's his target, stuffing his stat line, his second goal of the game along with those 3 assists.
Yeah, that is a nice little stat line there. 5 points, nothing negative, no turns. Pacina really delivering to this Dutch side that he's playing with here.
By the way, shout out to Bram, who says, what should we look for on the field? He says, my beautiful face. Oh. It's this humility that I admire.
Disckick moving the other way. Seeing if they can continue in their scoring form. Vissa waits it out, actually. Probably didn't want to originally, but after the missed D, decided to take one more step and turned a reception into a goal.
This is boxing out. It's not always about, you know, getting right underneath it, just making sure you're going at it with just them right there. Sometimes you just slow up a little bit, you shield them, and make sure that they have to go up early in order to get a shot at it. It's what Van Laar decides that he has to do, but having committed to it, Vissa recognizes, well, I can actually just watch this drop right into the breadbasket like I don't have a care in the world.
Here comes the pull. Van de Voet fielded and moved on right away to Van Fokken. Pacina. Van de Voet. Ooh, and that's thrown into a contest because Gross sent himself flying to get in front of Steenhausen.
He's more than redeemed himself from the earlier sand strip on the layout, hasn't he?
No, most certainly. That just put the exclamation point on redemption.
It's the risk of having that outside-in blade through the inside-out channel, is that it does take it a bit into the defender's path.
Visser with a nice round break to get to the 11 shirt of Ofroth. That one, Gross tries to throw the legs in, but needed a couple more feet at least to get right in for the goal. Instead, back on his feet looking for an assist. Now Scuber over top. That one from Kervel for the assist, and it's back to within a 2-point game.
Back to within a 1-point game, I think.
Oh, goodness, yeah, there's the scoreboard change. My bad, 9-8. It's as close as we've seen it since a 2-1 game. We saw it at 3-2 as well, sorry.
Yeah, timeout called by Gronical Dizziness because Disckick have been a different animal in this second half. So time for us to get a break in the booth as well, I think, Steph.
For the first time ever, from the golden sandy blankets of Portimao, Portugal, BULA and ULTI.TV bring you the World Beach Ultimate Club Championship 2024. The best club teams in the world will converge on the Portuguese Algarve. With expectations for upwards of 150 teams, this promises to be a tournament worth bucket listing. Whether on the sands or watching the action from your screen, WBUCC 2024 is a tournament not to be missed.
Back after the timeout. Cracking game here. Disckick making it that way after a flying start by Gronical Dizziness. It looked like it might just be a one-sided tilter that went the way of the Dutch, but the Berliners not letting it go that simply. And a couple sets of runs there, a 3-point run followed by a opposing goal, and now a 2-point run while they pull again and leave their defense on the field. Gronical gone deep right away off the hands. That one is gonna cause some wonder, as Hacker can't hold on, and the Germans with a chance to tie things up here if they can put this in. Who'd have thunk it way back at 8-3. Visser, well read as he goes to ground over the defense, back on his feet. Immediate dump and a casual drop out of Oforth.
It was just a little bit behind him maybe, but at any rate, he'd have backed himself to make that catch.
Hacker goes to Steenhausen, has his receiver there. Van Foken cannot catch up to it, and that one gets away.
It looked to me like he just slowed down a little bit because he was expecting the disc to continue to blade back in towards him, and instead the disc took the other edge and just tailed away.
So another chance to tie things up here for Disckick Berlin.
First multiple turn point of the second half, by the way, and only the second of the game, the first since the game's second point. Both sides have generally been extremely clinical.
Get some Dutch comments in the YouTube chat. All I can say to you is lekker lekker.
Sure.
Here comes Berlin. That one trailing away towards the sideline. Was there enough field? We'll never find out because the layout D took it away.
Yeah, I get the feeling that that was always going to eventually end up out of bounds.
Woo! Heck of a play.
I tell you what, for Hacker, why bother taking the risk? I totally agree with committing to the bid there, especially because it made sure that he did not get any contact with his opponent. Here's Pacino churning up the sand. I couldn't get there.
Even he couldn't get there.
I was sure that he was readying himself to bid, and I was going to tee you up.
Yeah, that went just out the back. He was running out of space, running out of legs, and now we're entering multiple turn territory here. I got a couple food items I can mention as Dutch words. Frikandel, bittenballs. Okay, now I'm out of Dutch words. Oh, slaplekker.
Stroopwafel.
Stroopwafel, yes.
It's my favorite Dutch word. It's got everything to do with what it means.
And we are very excited to be in Amsterdam next week too, but here we are in Royan. Disckick with the disc, ready to tie it up if they can put these turnovers in the back pocket.
And I see what Disckick have really kicked on in the second half, as Steenhausen's going to have to come out hopping a little bit.
What are the chances Van de Vood come in? Well, they're 100%. As he did the last injury substitution.
Were you saying that because you already saw him coming in?
I did, but I was thinking it before I looked that way.
It's Kolechko who's going to bring the disc in off the stoppage.
Having a look, engaging his dump, and well defended there. Oh, and a beautiful D, but he almost macked it into a catchable situation, but beautiful nonetheless. Now a big hanger, 2 Dutch towers. First one's there, and it's the German defenders that knock it away. I think it's Gross that got the hand smack.
I'm not sure whether it was Gross or whether it was Kolechko, but I mean, the two-man mountains there, and Gross is not really, he's not a short lad either, and I tell you what, it might actually be Kolechko who comes up trumps.
You are absolutely right there. Second look there shows that was the smallest man of 4 pieces of timber that lumberjacked above them all and got the knockaway. So this, the longest time point of the game, the most turnover point in the game, and by all that, by all those standards, the most valuable point of this game thus far. If you break it down, they all only count for 1. That one just gets past another layout D attempt and into the hands of Chan, but rushed through the next pass, and another turnover there, back to Gronical Dizziness.
Yeah, I bet you Gerstenberg wants that one back.
Oh, does he ever? Pasinia kicks things off. Now Van Hertog into Van de Voud. Van Hertog throws the hat down in anger, even though they score, but not happy with the lengths they had to go through to get that goal.
4 turnovers aside that point. That pretty much equaled Gronical's total turnovers before we started that point. There's the bit from Pasinia that doesn't get there. And Chan made the next pass, but Gerstenberg rushed it a little bit. And then here you see it's Van Hertog, excuse me, just zip that one in there. Does Lars Den Hertog. Van der Woede makes the catch, and it's 10-8. I tell you what, that must feel so good for Gronical Dizziness, fearing another disc kick run.
Yeah, that was awfully close on multiple occasions. A 9-9 game is a very different feeling than carrying a lead. Tie game, watching a lead slip away is one of those moments of doubt. You know, there's potential for heads to drop. You hope the majority keep the heads high, but they've avoided that. And the onus back on Disckick to try and hold and make a late run of this. Here comes Disckick. Squeezing through very small spaces there. Gillick with it after a few throws to Chan. And he does drag the toes. He puts his hands up. My opinion is the same as his. People are going to chat about that. But it's given. Chan with the toe drag on the Gillick throw. Here's another look.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't even think he's dragging the tape. I think his feet are just in bounds. Excellent toe drag swag from Chan.
I mean, he
10-9.
like impaled the sand with his toe. He dragged it, but he just like jammed him into the sand there.
Right, it's like trying to peg in a tent, isn't it? You just like get the angle, just get right in there. There's no doubt about him making sure that those toes are down.
It's almost like his feet disappeared. We've got a scorekeeper on the field indicating 4 minutes remain before our hard cap will sound.
I tell you what, this is such a fun way to end the day, isn't it?
This one brought to sender. Van de Vouden. Sent forward, that's Van Voorken. Back to Van de Vouden. Scoop over top. Oh! Great pickup with the hands swinging down by Pasinia. And his opposition say, yeah, not only was it a sweet layout grab, but he did keep the body in as well. And that one counts to put the 11th point on the board for Gronical Dizziness.
I'll tell you what, Van der Wild, he's given Pasinia the chance to make a highlight reel play there, hasn't he? Because that scuba is probably a little bit overdone.
Slightly overcooked, but still cashes in for some pastries out of the oven.
Yeah, 11-9, 2 points they lead by with just 3 minutes left. And they need 2 for the win. This is going to go all the way down to the wire. Exactly what you want from still glorious Royan here in France. Last game of the day, day 1. at EBUCC 2023.
It's only Friday and all this action already, Benji. I cannot wait to see what the rest of this weekend has in store.
You'll be pleased to know it's 2 more days of Frisbee, Stef.
Oh my God, what are we gonna do with all that? Here comes Disckick with a layout in the own end zone there. Layout D attempt, but maintaining possession. Chan with the disc. Chan goes wide and around in a flailing blind hand there. Nearly gets the D.
Yeah, I was going to say Fernandez knew that swing was coming, but just never could get his head around to see the disc.
That one sent to goal, and well read there. Goal on the cards for the number 46 shirt.
It's Yannis Hanneman catching his 2nd goal of the game. Again, Disckick just keeping it tight, 11-10 the score.
So, 1-point game again. Time, about 2 minutes remaining until we get a cap. We're going to get a game to 12, maybe 13. Let's see how this shakes out. 13, of course, is as high as it can possibly go. That is points cap.
Numbers do not come higher than 13, at least not on the beach.
Yeah, they do in your calculator, perhaps.
And you can see how, how much this means to Disckick, because they are, everyone's attentive, making sure that they know exactly what the plan is. They've had it tough so far, 2 defeats out of 2. And they want to give themselves the best possible chance of getting into that round of 16.
Not to mention looking good on the ULTI.TV streams. Here comes Gronical. Dizziness trying to ruin all those Disckick plans. Van Hertog. Straight back to Van Foken.
Ooh, the bobble.
Asinya. And you see the bobble, late game moments. A little bit of fatigue, a little bit of understanding of the pressure of these moments. Van de Woude goes deep. He is open enough. The throw is on point enough, but not in the end zone. Van de Woude on the goal line, trying to engage, but it has too many options. Then goes Blammer.
Oh!
And Den Hertog gets the catch over top of the head, and a foul's called.
I mean, he posterized Kerbal there, didn't he? Trying to utilize that full wingspan to just pluck it from above his head.
And I mean, it's the old rule of vertical space that's no longer a rule exactly in itself, but if he did take over that space above and caused contact, preventing the ability to get the D, well, then that's likely what Kerbel's trying to plead there.
Yeah, obviously we're not quite privy to the discussions, but it feels like that's what he's saying, that he was going up and the defender came over the top.
They're going to have a look here.
I will say that I think there was an under open when the first deep shot went up to Van der Woude, and I'd like to have seen maybe a little bit more support arrive a bit earlier there. In the end, it's a, let's be honest, bit of a sketchy hammer, and they're saying that the goal stands.
Again, it's totally up to them. I think that's about right by my estimation. I mean, Den Hertog, just a much bigger body.
Can't teach tall.
You can't teach tall. I mean, there was a little bit of arms tangling, but nothing. I mean, there was nothing that Kerbal was going to do to prevent him from catching that. I don't think, despite that bit of contact that he felt from the Den Hertog coming over top.
And it's almost rule 1 of Ultimate, right? If you get in a little bit of trouble, just stick it to the big man.
Chuck and pie.
Look, there are very good teams who have won very important games by essentially just utilizing the height mismatches.
Oh, goodness, are there so many? We could probably ring off a handful of them anyways, but yes, feed the beast, chuck some pie, stick it deep to the timber.
Don't talk about chucking some pie, because I'm thinking about food already.
Yeah.
And now I'm just thinking, ooh, dessert.
I mean, I'm thinking the same thing. That's probably why I can't stop saying it.
Oh, did that go out of bounds? Just it landed inbounds and then rolled out the back. That horrible, and I mean that as in a complimentary way, Paul, from Marius Van Laar. Oh, off the hands.
And a chance to win it now. Gronical Dizziness can put them away, tuck in the kids, and call it a night here if this one's in the end zone. The first pass is good. 40 shirt Huiston, who left earlier with a forearm shiver injury, but he's back out there at this stage of the game. The open dump, Fernandez Ortiz begs for it and gets it. Now Van Laar. Centered. Hansma. Shot to the sand there. I'm not sure if somebody got a piece of that or if it was just totally misthrown.
Yeah, he wanted Van Laar was the target there. Van Laar was saying, just put it up a little bit and let me try and box out. But I'll tell you what, Fernandez, I mean, this is a very out-of-date reference. We're in France, right? So he very nearly got the full force of the guillotine there.
I was thinking more a clean shave, but yeah, quite well could have been the guillotine too. It's coming straight at him, straight to the jugular. Chan goes to Vissa. Back to Chan, but no. That one is a step in front, flop in front D.
Yeah, Van Laar is the player who I'm sure feels like he got that fairly enough.
By that angle, it looks fair enough too. Did their hands connect? Was it a strip? Not a strip. It's a foul contest called. So we'll go back to Visser.
It's been a long day for these players, and I think both of them say, are we going to come to a resolution? No. Do we want to keep playing Frisbee? Yes. Let's contest it and get on with it.
Visser. To Gerstenberg, now to Chan. Ooh, a bit too far inside and right into the hands of the Gronical Dizziness shirt. And Hansma going the other way. Shot deep, but swatted away by Gerstenberg again. And another chance for the Berliners to extend the game. Chan fires deep. Visser there, running out of real estate.
Yeah, I felt at one point that maybe he's setting himself to go for the layout, and then maybe if there was support, he goes for the greatest, and in the end, Keiston just tracks that all the way out of bounds, and he takes a big old rest on the barriers.
It's like his haunches were even too far away because the great was kept him upright, and he just took a little breather there. There he is again, taking a rest. Oh, no, we didn't get quite to the rest part.
Yeah, Gronical Dizziness had their first game at 10 this morning. That was interrupted by the lightning delay. For Disckick, they started a little bit later because they had that first game off. Of course, pools of 5. So one team is always going to miss out on a game and get the bye in that round.
Let's see if they can put it away now. Fernandez Ortiz goes to Garens. He's shot deep. Receivers there. Hansma gets under it. Gronical Dizziness get the win under the lenses of ULTI.TV. And they are sending off the, I mean, what do we call these?
A flare. It's a flare.
Flares, the green smoke flare to celebrate their win, Benji.
Yeah, clearly they are loving life out there now. And I'll tell you what, after a little bit of thunder and lightning earlier, now we've got the smoke storm coming through. Hansma, by the way, still, a young player, the upstart, going to play for the Netherlands at the European Youth Championships in the under-20 division later this year. Another high-scoring game in this pool. 23 points in the end. A Disckick Berlin. This is their second 13-10 loss of the tournament after they lost to Tour. 13-10, and Polbo versus Odin, two of the other teams in this pool, that ended up 13-11. So if you want to see a high-scoring game, and you're in you're in the vicinity of Royan, I'd maybe try and work out where Open Pool A is having their games and maybe clapping my eyes on them.
So tomorrow we're back with more action. We've got 4 games already fixed. E6 versus Yaka in the women's division. Discolaris against UFA in the mix, or UFA, I believe they're called. Solaris and Pug Ultimate back in the open, and then Bordeaux Ultimate versus Fly High Lausanne. And after that, Benji, we're into the brackets.
Yep, we have the round of 16 games, or the pre-quarterfinals, if you will, in the mixed and the open division. Women's quarterfinal action, mixed quarterfinal action, open quarterfinal action, and then semi-finals in the women's and mixed as well. Another bumper day of Ultimate for you, and I, for one, cannot wait for it.
Well, make that 2. I'm not waiting, not feeling like waiting either, but we're going to be forced to. While you wait, go on, like, subscribe, get on and become a patron. Do all those good things, and once you're done that, take a nap, go back to work, depending on where you are, and be back tomorrow morning for more action here on ULTI.TV. I've been Stef Pazzo, and I've had the pleasure to be joined with, once again, Benji Reese. We're going to call that a day. We'll be back tomorrow, and we're excited to see you there.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.